is Cheryl Erickson, and I'm the Indigenous focused ECE instructor with Louis Riel Vocational College. Today, we will be summarizing Chapter 1 of Nutrition, Health and Safety for Young Children, Promoting Wellness. In Chapter 1, we talk about wellness and what is wellness and wellness of children. The definition of wellness is a positive state of health and well-being, the foundation for optimal development and learning. And in a child care center, through our policies and daily schedules, we incorporate a healthy environment for children and encourage the health and well-being of encourage and promote the health and well-being of young children. And how do we go about doing that? A nutritious diet, the snacks and lunches we choose to feed the children throughout the day are going to be based on Canada's Food Guide and healthy serving sizes for children. We're going to ensure that our daily schedule allows for time for outdoor play, fresh air and exercise, as well as time for the children to rest their body and have a nap if they need to have some sleep. So we want to ensure that we meet the needs of the children, providing sufficient foods. So when we plan our daily schedule and the meals for children, we want to incorporate a schedule that would allow for children to snack 2 to 3 hours. So 2 to 3 hours in between snacks, because they are busy and burning off a lot of energy. We want to ensure that our environment is promoting health. Things like cough etiquette and sneeze etiquette and washing hands are going to be really important for keeping children healthy and keeping our bodies healthy, as well as our environment. We're going to practice our monthly fire drills and our evacuation procedures. In Chapter 1, it also talks about immunizations. And although we want children to be healthy and free of illness, we do not dismiss, or we will not turn a child away because they aren't immunized. So we do, however, want to know if a child isn't immunized, especially in the event that certain illnesses are going through, chickenpox, mumps, measles. We want to ensure the family of that particular child knows what illnesses are going through the center so that they're prepared and can seek proper treatment in that case. So what are the building blocks of foundation? The basic and most important is nutrition. So we want to ensure that children are eating a wide variety of nutrition foods, that those foods are digested and absorbed, that are going to promote good health and body growth and development. So we want to promote things as far as good for the body. We want to ensure that there's good mental and health well-being, the absence of disease, although you're not going to prevent illnesses and communicable illnesses or diseases coming through your center. You can reduce them by proper hand washing, sanitizing, and disinfecting as well. And we also want to promote safety and keeping children from harm. And that could be simply by evaluating your program and equipment, throwing out toys that are broken, having plugs in the outlets, and your evacuation processes and protocols that are practiced to prepare your staff and children for emergencies. What is our role as ECEs? We want to recognize that relationship between health and safety and implement those appropriate practices. Those are going to positively reinforce that development of the child. Children can be a part of that process as well, especially when it comes to food and health. So really promoting those practices and explaining to the children why we do, why is hand washing important? Why is cough and sneeze etiquette important? Helping in cleaning and sanitizing the toys, things like that are easily implemented in your program. We can teach and share responsibilities with families to provide the best nutrition possible for the children. So offering suggestions and guidelines for lunches, promoting an environment that if families are bringing lunches for the children or sending lunches, that we offer a way to heat lunches. So things like leftovers come into the center. That kind of avoids those prepackaged types of meals, the pizza pops or little snacks with processed cheese and meat and crackers that are convenient but not the most healthy. Offering hot lunches to the families that they could purchase for a minimal fee is a really good way to incorporate healthy, hearty meals to children in a daycare center. Ensuring children's safe experiences in the childcare setting are very important as well. And looking and evaluating your program to ensure that it is meeting those safety needs. One of the most important safety protocols that all childcare centers in Manitoba have is locked facilities. So you can't enter a childcare facility without an access card or key fob or being let in by a daycare staff. So that's promoting a safe practice for children. Some of the trends that affect nutritional services, we have, I've talked about this in previous chapters. We live in a supersized world, and we want the most for our money. Supersized has led to obesity and epidemic factors regarding obesity. So things like diabetes have come up or increased because of the lifestyles we lead and the foods that we are choosing to eat. So obesity epidemic factors are often carried on from generation to generation. It's the trends and the family eating behavior. So my parents did it, that's how I learned, and so that's how I'm raising my child with the same. And it passes on, so on and so on. We've also moved to a more screen, video games, television, computers, so more sedate activities children are participating in, which means that they're not outside and running around and jumping in the fresh air and getting that exercise. So that's also been a factor in obesity. And the outdoor play component is important, getting out and riding your bike. The other factor is the costs of organized sports too can be too much for a lot of families, and so therefore that's eliminating an opportunity for exercise as well. So we want to, again, as ECEs, promote wellness and good health and nutrition practices for children. What we typically use in our environment as far as planning snacks and healthy, implementing healthy practices, we utilize Canada's Food Guide. We incorporate daily exercise, outdoor play, free play into our environments here in Manitoba. And we look at ways to promote healthy eating practices with in our environment. So really encouraging more fruits and vegetables, less processed, foods with different textures, more chewing allows for that message for your brain and your stomach to signal that your tummy is full. That message getting passed along usually can take up to half an hour. So sometimes it's eating and eating and eating and not realizing that you're full. So practices like that are good for promoting health and nutrition. Some current issues impacting children's health. Again, some of these issues are more American related than Canadian. We do have free health care, especially when it comes to children. More health care, more programs are covered for children than they are for adults. So we'll look at a few of these and discuss them. So, health insurance isn't a impact for children here. If you're seeking advice from a doctor or a pediatrician, practices can come into place. There can be referrals for your child as far as different ways to seek medical attention or programs that might involve more healthier practices like a nutritionist to help you plan meals for your child who might be diabetic. We have programs as well for oral health. A lot of illnesses start in your mouth with cavities and can lead to a lot of different illnesses. So we have really good dental programs. Dentist First Visit Free is one of the programs. A lot of daycare centers promote toothbrushing to teach children how to brush their teeth, and that's something that's ongoing in their program to care for teeth, because we know that's really important to health. And keeping bodies clean, which starts with hand washing and things like that. So those really incorporate good health practices here in Manitoba and in Winnipeg in particular. We're looking at mental health. There's been a lot of stigmas about mental health, and in the past we haven't openly talked about mental health. And more discussions are taking place, and there's more avenues for us to turn to as far as mental health practices go, and that's something that's strongly promoted with children. So we're talking to them and finding resources and referrals that we can make as well. And they're in the province of Manitoba and in Canada, more children are in childcare centers and schools with needs than ever before, and we're trained to know how to aid and assist their specific needs. As far as issues in child safety, we manage security. Like I said, all centers are locked facilities. You can't get in without permission, and that keeps children safe. We have guidelines and regulations. We have coordinators that come out and check on us. We have boards of directors that work with the staff to ensure safety for their children. Boards of directors are often parents. We're practicing room awareness as far as things in the environment that aren't safe and removing them. And there's greater attention focused on emergency preparation. We want to ensure that we can evacuate our children somewhere safely, and that children are aware of the steps so that evacuation can be successful. All that stems around, again, that biological Brenner's ecological systems theory. So everything that I've talked about is kind of encompasses those areas and how that influences the child. So in terms of all four of those systems, micro, meso, exo, and macro, all those interactions that children are having with their family, that their family is having with resources within the community, places that they may work, all that impacts a child in a certain, sense. So if a child is having a lot of health issues, has a disability, there's going to be resources that they're going to be involved with for physiotherapy, goal setting, maybe medical groups that maybe the parents are involved with, that's an extension. All that down the road is going to play a key factor in shaping them into the people that they will be in the future. Brain development is a big part of that as well. Why is brain development important to health, safety, and nutrition? Our body is a machine. What we feed it, how we exercise it is all important to that brain development and stimulation. So simple interactions that we have with our infants and talking to them and cooing, playing games with them. That's all part of the start of brain development. And as children learn, grow, and develop, their needs for more knowledge becomes greater. So you go from an infant who is oral, infants, newborns learn that sucking, grasping, that's important for food. They realize that sucking reflex gets them food. That's just a process of learning. That changes focus as they start to grow. They learn through sight, they learn through touch, taste, hearing, smell. And we also know that the brain is very plastic, and so your brain can adjust and change with new information, with new changes, things that are happening within your environment. And we want to ensure that in our early learning environments that they are rich with many different learning opportunities for children, so that they're growing and they're thriving, they're benefiting from that program. Why is that important? For us as ECEs to know that, to look to our curriculum and to offer children more experiences and further their knowledge. So we want to look at our environment and look at it in the context of children constructing their own learning, allowing them to have the freedom, uninterrupted free play to explore their environment. We want to have many different opportunities for them to participate in play through loose parts, through the materials, toys and games that we provide for them, so that they're challenged, that they're learning, that they're having fun is a really important part of growing their knowledge. The more fun you have, the more interest children show, the more they're going to gain from what they're doing. And so it's really important for us as adults in the early learning environments to build on that. Daycare is also a very social process as well, and children learn so much through those interactions. They learn roles, they learn rules, children learn to police themselves. They learn how things work. And us as adults can really focus on scaffolding that learning and that development so that they can achieve tasks. When we talk about developmental domains, I've said developmental domains, I've talked about developing the whole child within our program. So we look at physical, so their body, cognitive, brain, language development, and social emotional. So a lot of self-regulation. Those are all parts of how children learn and grow and develop. And so our program is going to focus on those 4 domains. When we talk about designing that wellness curriculum, what does that look like? And so, wellness is really important, and it should promote it should promote the insight of parents, not only daycare staff, board of directors, but the parents as well. And so we want to look at what those messages are. What are we trying to get across to the children? Is it cough, sneeze etiquette? Is it the dental health? Is it the promoting hand washing and keeping our bodies clean, and how that's connected to keeping your body healthy? So we need to establish what we're trying to teach and then connect it to something that hands-on they will be able to do to promote that understanding as well. And then reviewing those activities for safety factors as well. And we look at, again, what our lesson plan's going to be and the age of our child, so that it is something that is developmentally appropriate. In everything we do, of course, we include all children. So it is an inclusive program. So it's always going to be adapted for each child as far as disabilities or where they are developmentally. Again, curriculum is a collaborative approach. As far as wellness program, a few years ago, a board of directors was really concerned about struggling with lunches, a variety of foods that they could feed their child, things that were nutritious. And we worked it out in our budget to supplement a hot lunch program for the children of the daycare for 3 times a week, because that was a really important wellness step that the board of directors at that time wanted to take. The center couldn't solely do it financially, but we worked it out within our budget and how it would work collaboratively, and it was a successful program. So things like that can be done when people come together to talk about issues that are affecting their child and health and the benefit of everybody. So you just have to talk about it, communicate what you want to see, what those goals are, sharing information, sharing health, sharing your story, sharing your insight. Is all very important. We don't know until it comes to the table, and then we can figure out where it should go from there and incorporate that into your program, because again, it's going to benefit the children that you're caring for. So that concludes Chapter 1, the role in our role as ECEs in children's wellness. I do encourage you to see your instructor if you have any questions regarding Chapter 1, and also just to check in to ensure that you haven't missed any handouts or assignments pertaining to Chapter 1.